I think the moment that I fell in love with music, in its sense of beauty, was the very moment that I heard Roy Orbison's voice, and I still remember it to this day. I heard he'd just died, and he'd released "You've Got It," and from the very moment that he opened his mouth, and sang "Every time I look into your loving eyes," and and then his voice just seemed to just cascade, and it flew. His voice just flew like the voice of an angel, and I just fell in love with that voice. I mean, Roy's voice, there just seemed to be no limit to it. There just seemed to be no limit of freshness, and it cut. It really, for me, it just penetrated. It just penetrated like the soul of a person, and just and I didn't really. It was strange, because at the time when I saw him, he looked exactly what I pictured he would look like. I never actually knew what Roy looked like, but yet I knew what he looked like when I heard him sing, and I've never experienced that with anybody. And for me, the whole persona of Roy Orbison, his sunglasses, his whole look, he just didn't really look like he belonged to this world, really. That's probably a strange thing to say, but his voice on them recordings has never left me. And something about Roy, Roy just to me just stands out right above the rest, and I don't think you can ever get past the distinct influence of Roy Orbison upon music, and the distinct voice, and the flowing of his melodies, and the way they went. They began as a songwriter. When you listen to his songwriting, they began in one place and just finished somewhere else. Where did they end up? I don't know where they ended up, but they ended up somewhere else where they began. And my records always they don't do that. They pretty much begin there, and then they sort of come back there again, and they're repetitive. But Roy just seemed to sort of fly off, and he'd start here, and then he'd go somewhere else, and in the middle of it, completely change another song, and then another band. You could make 4 or 5 songs out of each individual section of his melodies, and it's an amazing songwriting gift from Roy. And like I say, his influence upon me from that moment I first heard his voice, it's never left me, really. I always come back to Roy, and no matter what music I hear, and different styles, and even the constraints of pop music, of which Roy was in, when I listen to other people, I can find little that actually touches the seriousness of this music. And Roy was a very serious performer on stage. I never saw him, I wish I did, but whenever I've seen anything of him on film, he was a very, very serious performer, and took his art and his music very seriously. And I've got nothing but respect for Roy.